Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we try to figure out what these giant companies are really up to. And today we're diving into First Northwest Bancorp's latest filing. Get ready because we've got some important news about who's calling the shots. First Northwest Bancorp, a company you might know from their presence on the Nasdaq under the ticker FNWB, has just announced a major leadership change. This isn't just a small shuffle, it's a big one impacting who's steering the ship. So what's the big news? Well, on September 11th, 2025, the big bosses, the board of directors, made a decision. They've appointed a new president and chief executive officer for First Northwest Bancorp, and also for its bank subsidiary, First Fed Bank. This new leader is Kurt Quay-Rouse, and he's not just taking on the top job, he's also joining both of the company's boards. It's important to note that this change doesn't happen immediately. Mr. Quay-Rouse officially steps into his role as President and CEO on September 17th, 2025. When he takes over, Geraldine L. Bullard, who has been doing a great job as the interim chief executive officer since July, will wrap up her interim duties. But don't worry, she's not going anywhere. She'll continue to be a key part of the company, staying on as executive vice president and chief operating officer. Think of it as the interim captain passing the helm to the new permanent captain. Let's talk about Mr. Quay-Rouse. He's 64 years old and brings a lot of experience to the table. Most recently, he was the president of Community Bank and Corporate Credit at Coastal Financial Corporation, which is the parent company of Coastal Community Bank. He joined them in 2022. Before that, from 2016 to 2022, active in his community and the banking world. Had experience with something called Banking as a Service, or BAS, Tap Bank in Utah. He also has an accounting degree from Louisiana State University and is active in his community and the banking world. Now, you might wonder about any special deals or if anyone related to him is involved in any shady business with the company. The filing assures us that Mr. Quay-Rouse isn't part of any transactions that need to be disclosed under what's called Item 404N and 404N and 404N of Regulation SK. Also, there's no family connection between him and any of the current directors or key officers at First Northwest. He wasn't chosen to be here because of some deal. It seems to be purely based on his qualifications. No big leadership change would be complete without talking about the employment agreement, and this one is pretty detailed. On the same day the boards decided, September 11, 2025, Mr. Quay-Rouse signed an agreement to be president and CEO. This deal runs through December 31st, 2028, with the possibility of extending it if both sides agree. Let's get to the numbers. His base salary will be $550,000 per year. On top of that, he's getting a signing bonus of $100,000, but there's a catch with that bonus. He might have to pay it back if he leaves the company under certain conditions within his first year. He's also getting an award of 50,000 shares of restricted stock. These shares will become fully his over 3 years, meaning a portion vests each year. He'll have to keep at least half of the shares that vest, which is a common way to encourage leaders to think long term. Looking ahead to 2026, he'll be eligible for bonuses. His target bonus for short-term incentives is 50% of his base salary, and for long-term incentives, it's 35% of his base salary. These bonuses will depend on what the boards or their compensation committee decide. He'll also get the usual company benefits, plus a $1,000 monthly allowance for his car and gas, and $500 a month towards life insurance. The agreement also lays out what happens if things don't work out. If the company ends his employment without a good reason, or if he quits for a good reason, he's entitled to a payout equal to 2 times his annual base salary. This also includes covering his health insurance under COBRE for 12 months after he leaves. Now, if this happens within 12 months after a big change in the company, like a merger or acquisition, and that change is called a change in control, that payout is even bigger. In that scenario, he'd get 2.99 times his annual base salary, and COB get 2.99 times his annual base salary and COBAR for 12 months after he leaves. Now, if this happens within 12 months after a big change in the company, like a merger or acquisition, and that change is called a change in control, that payout is even bigger. In that scenario, he'd get 2.99 times his annual base salary and COBAR for 12 months after he leaves. Now, if this happens within 12 months after a big change in the company, like a merger or acquisition, the agreement also includes standard clauses about keeping things confidential, not competing with the company, not poaching employees, and protecting the company's intellectual property. It also covers things like indemnification, which means the company will protect him from certain liabilities, and insurance, plus a clawback provision that allows the company to take back compensation if something goes wrong. To spread the word about this important appointment, First Northwest put out a press release on September 12th. This filing also includes that press release for everyone to see. It's worth noting that this information is being provided under a specific section, item 701, which is for Regulation FD Disclosure. Basically, this means they're making this information public so everyone has the same information at the same time, avoiding any unfair advantages in the market. But the filing also makes clear that this information isn't technically considered filed in the same way as other parts of the report, so it doesn't come with the same legal liabilities. Finally, the filing lists what documents are included as exhibits. The most important one here is Exhibit 10.1, which is the full text of the employment agreement we just discussed. Exhibit 99.1 is that press release, and Exhibit 104 is the interactive data file for the cover page, all standard stuff for these reports. Now, let's talk about what this hiring means. First Northwest Bancorp and its bank, First Fed Bank, are making a fairly significant move by bringing in someone with a strong background in community banking and even fintech. This suggests they're looking to grow and perhaps innovate in how they operate. Bringing in a seasoned CEO like Mr. Queiroz, especially one with experience in both traditional banking and newer financial technologies, could signal a strategy to strengthen their market position and adapt to changing customer needs. The generous compensation package, including the signing bonus and restricted stock, shows the confidence the board has in him and the company's commitment to securing his leadership. From a financial perspective, while this filing doesn't contain detailed financial tables, the leadership change itself is a major factor for investors. A new CEO can bring fresh ideas, a new strategic direction, and potentially improve performance. Shareholders will be watching closely to see how Mr. Queiroz's tenure impacts the company's profitability and growth. His past experience in managing growth and partnerships, as noted in his background, could be exactly what First Northwest needs to navigate the competitive landscape of community banking. One potential risk to keep an eye on with new leadership is the integration of their vision. Will Mr. Queiroz's strategies align with the company's existing culture and operational capabilities? Also, the terms of his employment, particularly the severance packages, are quite substantial, meaning any abrupt departure would come at a significant cost to the company. However, these terms are also designed to ensure stability and commitment from the CEO, especially through potential periods of change or uncertainty. In conclusion, First Northwest Bancorp is making a bold move by appointing Kurt Queiroz as their new CEO. His extensive experience in the banking sector, including some exposure to fintech, positions him as a potentially transformative leader. The company is clearly investing heavily in his leadership, hoping to drive future growth and success. Investors should keep a close watch on how his strategies unfold and how the company's stock performs under his guidance. What are your thoughts on this leadership change and what it means for First Northwest Bancorp? Let us know in the comments below. If you found this breakdown helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more corporate insights. And don't forget to join our Discord community for more discussions and insider access. The link is in the description. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.